me ask Tony. So, OHT has shared what they have been able to do with the NAM enterprise. You do advise over 200 family businesses across Africa. Just help us layer the tools that we can take advantage of as we walk this journey practically. So Damali did mention you need to make a will. And if you don't, somebody else will, right? The Administrator General will for you. So that's just one of the tools. What are other additional practical tools that you have deployed in these 210 family businesses?
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for TARA Advocate. You're doing a great job. And thank you for all the panelists and everyone that has presented. And I think specifically to the NAM Enterprise family, I want to thank you for being as very transparent. One of the biggest challenges we have, not only in Uganda but across Africa, is families being able to come out to share their story. Again, we work with very many families, but very few are willing to come out. Of course, the narrative is changing, and how does it change? Such conversations are able to start having such conversations. You see, when you talk about estate planning, and I'm grateful for the business, because it's the enterprise part of it, what the business is doing, that's the enterprise part of it. The biggest gap in most family businesses is the actual structuring. And actually structuring is the start of the actual, what we call a family enterprise or family-owned businesses. When we talk about estate planning, there are about six tiers. The first one is the asset transfer, because each and every one of us has some assets, or you will have some assets. We have something to give. It could either be assets or liabilities. You have a choice, okay? So you can either give out assets or liabilities. And when we talk about the assets, because of the interest of time, the assets are only 5. You can either property, equities, bonds, commodities, and cash. Those are the only assets globally that in your lifetime you will be able to acquire and also maybe bequeath if you wish to, because again, it's a choice as well. But you see, when all those assets can actually be transferred, but that's only the first tier, which is asset transfer. And I'm glad that I think the family that was, I would like to use practical examples. I think the family has been able to handle that. Then the next one is retirement. Because one of the biggest challenges for family businesses is the creators of the businesses being able to let go. It's very, very difficult. Just this morning, I was having a conversation with one of the business owners, and he was complaining for things that, of course, for purposes of time, I wouldn't be able to indulge in. But the ability to let go is very, very difficult. And I believe maybe which I didn't get enough time to talk about that, but it's a big struggle. And one of the things is you can't navigate it on your own, actually as family, because of the element of the emotional part of it. You actually need someone to be able to guide you on that journey. So the retirement part is how do we step back and how much control do we let go? That's the part of retirement. And not only for you as the owners of the business, but also the other part of the business. I'm glad Hamis has talked about he's planning to be a pilot. So it's fantastic that actually you're already talking about the transition. Then after the retirement part, there's the element of charity. Because we are all giving things. And for example, the family here, I would like to use actual examples. The family, you can actually tell it's an Islamic family. They have some values embedded in that. What's their desire in terms of the charity perspective? And what do they define as charity? Now, most of the cases, these are things that probably you would not navigate on your own. You need people to help you on that aspect, to give you options. Because at the end of the day, if you have options, it's easy for you to navigate that space. Now, after charity, there's a very big complex, which is talked about and which leads to most of the biggest dispute, which is inheritance. Inheritance is a very big animal in terms of who participates. I think there was a question in terms of how do spouses participate in an estate. Who inherits what? Is it the firstborn? Is it the one that has the ability? Who goes in which business? Each family is totally unique. And how you structure it determines on very many dynamics. Today we have blended families that come together because of life happening. How do you integrate the element of estate planning into that? So inheritance is a very, very big, complex space. After inheritance, that's when you actually then go to taxation. Taxation is a big animal. In some markets, if you're not aware, inheritance is taxed close to 50% because it's income to you. So as you're doing that estate, have you factored in the element of taxation, and how is it going to be of benefit to the estate holistically? And then after that, that's when you talk about the wills, the trusts, and the holding companies, depending on the number of structures that you like to structure. Again, I say families are totally unique. So with all those tools, depending on the dynamics of the family, you can actually be able to come up with a holistic financial, what we can call a holistic financial estate plan. Without that, you will actually do it in different clusters. Now, in that tier, there's an area that is handled by the lawyers. There's an area that is handled by the tax experts, because for a family, like some of the families we work for have investments in more than one country. How is the element of taxation handled? Yes, you could probably have a law firm that's actually handling that, but how do you actually address those other investments that you have in other jurisdictions? And then you need the financial planners, because the financial planners enable you to come from all the way down, design something that is customized to you, and then be able to take it to the tax expert if it requires a tax expert. These days, law firms actually have departments that do that, and then get the legal opinion, which is able to tie everything together in the legal perspective. The biggest gaps for families that we have today, it's not that we all don't desire to have family businesses, we desire, but the execution. I can tell you that very many in 10 family businesses, one, or in most cases even none, has a shareholders agreement. A shareholders agreement, and someone would ask, why do we as families have to have a shareholders agreement? Because you've separated family and business. The element of shareholding then comes to play. And there are very many examples we can use. But I hope with that perspective, you're able to appreciate what the whole journey of financial planning and estate planning looks like.